G'day, it's Rob here again. Anyone that's watched my videos knows that I've got an old air compressor in the workshop, and this is it here, you're looking at it. And from that I just run the clean air supply from the regulator on the unit through a mile of hose, and take the hose around the workshop or out the workshop, anywhere I want to put it. And that's okay, except that if you just want to use, say, the air pencil die grinder or, you know, something like that on the bench, you've got to sort of unroll some hose. And I thought for a long time it'd be good to have a separate outlet on the wall by the by where I work on the bench. And so what I've done is I've put a T-piece on the regulator, and that's the main air line coming out through the normal hose. And this one here, I'm going to run a length of hose from that on the floor, across, around the wall, and bring it out by the part of the bench that I work on most, so I can just plug in an air tool that I want to use, you know, at any point. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do that, I might as well get another little regulator, a cheap one, and have it so that I can wind back the air for, say, you know, air dusting when you want to blow off parts and that, you know, because I normally have this main regulator is set at 90 psi, and the tank is running up to 120, and all my air tools basically are limited to 90 psi. That's the recommended pressure, so 90 is good, and it gives the compressor a bit of relief. It kicks in again at 75 psi, so there'll be pressure drop back from 90, but even so it's not massive. So anyway, that's the setup. So I looked on eBay to see what I could get as far as a cheap air regulator, and this is what I got. And here it is. It's arrived from Hong Kong. AR-2000 regulator. So here it is, and it's a regulator which looks like a lot like a copy of a Festo LR, which is a compensating regulator, believe it or not, with a gauge in kilopascals, and a little mounting bracket. And the whole lot cost me $5.36 delivered from Hong Kong. I mean, can you believe that? $5.36. How the hell can they make a pressure regulator and deliver it, including a gauge, for $5.36? That's unbelievable. And when I looked at this originally on the eBay, I thought, oh, that's got to be a heap of junk. But I thought, oh, I don't know. Maybe it really does work. So I had to get one just to see how good it was, and here it is. So I'll give it the once over, and we'll just see really, you know, what sort of quality you get for $5.36. It's supposed to be rated with a pressure range from 0.5 to 9 kilograms per square centimetre, which equates to, in the old British scale, back to 7 to 128 psi adjustment range, and it's supposed to max out at 10 kilograms per square centimetre. So I don't know what that is, I didn't actually look that up, but it's probably 130 or 40 psi around there. Okay, so we'll have a close look at it and see what we've got. So what have we got? Well, looking at it, it's looks a lot like, as I said, looks a lot like a Festo. The top pulls up, pushes down to unlock it. That plastic all seems like it's pretty good quality. Certainly not rubbishy. The screws off. And then you put your little mounting bracket on. There's a little cutout in there that clipped into. I mean, once again, that seems pretty well made. Certainly, it's amazing what you get for the money. That just locks in and that mounts on the wall. This is all die-cast alloy of some sort, and airflow indicator, little arrow so the air comes in this side and exits out that side. This plug comes out. Oops, and the little pressure gauge goes in there. So that just screws in. You know, the birds are out today. We've got lots of birds around here. Millions of them. They're always squeaking and squawking. Makes making videos a bit awkward at times. Okay, and then just to test it, I'll put the exit fitting, a button fitting, standard 1/2-inch air connector thread. So we'll put that on the outlet. And on the inlet end, I'll be running a hose in. I'll put a male connector just to test it and see if there's any leaks or if the pressure range works, see what it does. So there you are. There's our little unit. It's a pretty neat looking little job, I reckon. And yeah, I'm keen to see how it will actually perform. I mean, for the money, it's just it's gobsmacking, really. So, okay, I'll hook it up properly with some sealing tape, and then we'll run some air through it and we'll see exactly what it does. So, hang in there a bit more. Okay, let's see what this little puppy can do. Now, I mean, not all regulators are the same. It's not just all about air pressure, it's also about air volume. And while two air regulators might have the same adjustment range, pressure capabilities, the actual amount of air they can put through is the determining factor on which one is you're going to use for high use tools and which ones you're going to use for low use tools. I'd be surprised if this is actually going to be a high throughput regulator, given the size of it. I think it's going to be okay for medium to small stuff, dusting off parts and light duty work, but I think the high flow tools are going to test it out. We'll just check it out and see. Okay. It's all assembled. I've used sealing tape to seal the male and female connectors. I've used sealing compound to fit the pressure gauge. If you fit pressure gauges which have got a fine thread, which they invariably have, you're better off to use a sealing compound than tape for the very fine thread, otherwise they can leak. So we'll plug her in and see what happens. Well, there's no air leak, no obvious air leak. But this just comes up all right. So you can see that it's showing the outlet pressure, it's not showing the line pressure. So it is compensating. It's a compensating regulator. You put in the duster and just see what happens. I hope this comes up all right. So it actually goes to the off position. The adjustment range is pretty good. So that's as far as it's going to go with 90 psi line pressure. So if you went to 120 psi line pressure, it would obviously go right round to the near the end of the gauge, I should think. So for the pressure we're running, that's as high as it's going to go. So okay, we've got it on the maximum air throughput position. I'll take off the duster and I'll now put on a high throughput to high demand air tool, which is a medium-sized die grinder. Now this takes 9 cubic foot of air. This is a 9 CFM die grinder. The compressor is 7.5 CFM, so it overtaxes the compressor. So this will be maximum that I can actually run off my compressor. We'll plug it in and we'll just see how it spins over. Now that's definitely not full bottle. It's okay, but it's not anywhere near full bottle. I'd say it's running about 2/3 of its normal speed. Alright, now we'll take the airline off and we'll hook the die grinder in directly. So we're bypassing the regulator. So you can hear the difference. It's obviously spinning a lot harder. It could be running 50% faster. So obviously this regulator is not a high throughput regulator. So if you're going to be running big air tools on anything 9 CFM or higher, forget about it. This won't be any good. This is only going to be good for air dusting and running small capacity things like micro air die grinders. Spray painting be quite okay because the throughput won't be massive, and yeah, it'll be fine for spray painting, it'll be fine for micro air die grinder, it'll be fine for air dusting. But if you want to run air chisels or medium to big die grinders, needle descalers, it won't be any good. But for the money, you can't expect it to be, I don't think you can expect it to be much better than it is. I mean, if you want to run big capacity stuff, you're going to need a big capacity air regulator. I've got a full size air regulator on the main tank over there, and it's a high capacity unit. So basically, that's the difference. For the value, the value for money is quite extraordinary, really. It's well made, metal. Yeah, I'm tickled pink with it. I think it's great. You can't expect any more, and how long it's going to last, well, that's anybody's guess. How accurate the gauge is, that's anybody's guess. It seemed reasonably, okay in the way it operated. I'd have to do a conversion of the figures to see, but looking at it, the way it swept, it seemed to be fairly uniform. So anyway, there you have it. Cheap, seems to work okay, and it's just a matter now of seeing how long it lasts. Certainly, it's about as good as I expected it to be on the throughput. I didn't think it would be high volume, but certainly it's going to be okay for the sort of things I want to mainly do, which are air dusting and having quick control over air dusting, and rather than running across to the air compressor. And yeah, for light and medium duty jobs on the bench, I think it'd be quite good. If I want to run the big heavy stuff, well, I'll be running the big heavy hose probably anyway, so it's not going to really matter. So yeah, I think it's good, and I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's great value for money, and yeah, if you want one, go get them. They're cheap. Okay, see you next time. I hope you found that interesting. Cheers.